G is. I'm the greatest of all times. I'ma say it just like Ali did.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
The evil genius.
The champ is here!
Come on.
The champ is here!
And his opponent, weighing in 270 pounds, from Samoa, he is the current reigning and defending World Champion,
prize in ROH is on the line. The world title. Samoa Joe has held that belt for 18 months. He's made it into a world title, and he is defending it against a tough opponent, the torture device. The man who is a former pure champion. The man who has made an impact in ROH since the very first show, Doug Williams. And I can't wait to see this one.
I can't wait to see this one either. These are the heavyweights colliding.
Glory by Honor is Samoa Joe's event. He made his debut at the very first Glory by Honor in that legendary, brutal match against Low-Ki, perhaps the hardest hitting match in wrestling history. And last year at Glory by Honor, he was in a thrilling title defense against Christopher Daniels, and he put the Fallen Angel down. And it's hot and heavy in the early going of this one.
Yeah, speaking of brutal, look at this slugfest. High knee by Doug Williams plants the champion, and then a big shoulder tackle. It's almost like the irresistible force meets the immovable object.
And there's a lot behind those blows as Doug Williams goes to the floor. Samoa Joe showing he's not going to be outpowered. No one's going to outstrike him. No one's going to outkick him.
Look at Dougie loves it. Look, he's so British.
Doug Williams knows that the fight is on.
You know, Samoa Joe's got a lot of people looking after him. Both men show respect right there, handshake.
If Samoa Joe makes it past Doug Williams, he will enter his 19th month as ROH World Champion. And there you see Doug Williams faking out a test of strength and getting a leg scissors right there, right around the torso of Samoa Joe, trying to squeeze the oxygen out of the big man's lungs.
19 months for a heavyweight title, for any kind of title reign in the pro wrestling world nowadays is almost unheard of.
And look at that unique submission by the torture device on the world champion.
That's why he's called that. Ooh, big slap by Joe.
Oh, Doug Williams paid the price. Samoa Joe has defended the title against all comers. From Paul London to AJ Styles to Christopher Daniels, he's put them all down in classic title defenses. He went 60 minutes against CM Punk.
Did not put me down. Nice ankle pick by Doug Williams into a vice.
Many are calling the 60-minute match against you at World Title Classic the greatest match in ROH history. Can Samoa Joe get past Doug Williams? And in a little trivia note, Doug Williams was in fact the very first man to challenge Samoa Joe for the ROH title. It was known at the time at Round Robin Challenge 2 on April 26, 2003. And Samoa Joe obviously defeated Doug Williams that night. But now we're about a year and a half later, and it's a different situation. And now we'll see if Doug Williams can score that big win. Williams proved he can win the clutch matches. And there you see Samoa Joe doing anything possible to get out of that submission.
You know, it's interesting. Joe kept kicking Doug, and then Doug eventually had to pin both his legs. Very smart maneuver.
Doug Williams had a short but very successful stint as pure champion. And if Samoa Joe really wants to prove that the world title is better than the pure title, there's no better way than to put down the former pure champion, Doug Williams.
Yeah, but don't look past Doug Williams, because Doug Williams can beat Joe. That's what I love about Ring of Honor power. Anybody can beat anybody else on any given night.
Especially when somebody like Doug Williams has a weapon like the Chaos Theory. That puts them all down. The only reason it didn't defeat John Walters of Boston was because of that injured leg.
Well, the Chaos Theory does require a bridge. When you take away one of your legs, you're taking away 50% of your bridging power. Nice forearm by Joe. These boys are going to be hitting each other.
Doug Williams trying to use his quickness to go underneath, but Joe catches him. Now Doug Williams goes around. Doug Williams knows so many holds and counter holds. And he comes up with the leg of Samoa Joe. Don't forget, Doug Williams proved he could. Oh, Joe almost got caught with the shoulders on the mat. Doug Williams, though, he proved he could go to the limit as he was in that 60-minute Iron Man match and crowning a champion, the 5th ROH show ever, and now it's a match to determine the 1st ROH champion. So Doug Williams can go to the limit if need be.
So both men were involved in 2 of the longest matches in Ring of Honor history. Of course, there was a 3rd match being the American Dragon and Austin Aries being long too. But yeah, both these men can go the distance. They're both heavyweights, and they both come here to fight.
You think CM Punk that Samoa Joe might be at a psychological disadvantage? I mean, he did confront Doug Williams before that pure title match in Boston, so obviously that whole pure title thing did get to his mind. But not only that, he lost to Homicide at the last show in Boston, and in that 3-way, that non-title one that you were involved in, and him and Homicide, of course, they hate each other. They will not be opposing each other again in 2004, as ROH officials are giving them a cooling down period.
Well, let's
power hatred. But I mean, he did lose to Homicide.
Yeah, but let's call a spade a spade. He didn't lose to Homicide. He lost to a Pepsi plunge. Okay, proving that is the most devastating maneuver in Ring of Honor. If that can put down the champion, then that belt should be around my waist.
Very good point, CM Punk, and hopefully we can see that rematch between you and Samoa Joe soon. I know everyone wants to see it.
And don't forget, Doug Williams also lost in Boston. So both men coming off losses. Doug obviously lost his belt. Joe retaining his. It was a non-title match, but a lot of pride was on the stake there, and you know Joe was embarrassed as Joe backs Doug into the corner here.
Samoa Joe, he doesn't seem like he has an ego, but he definitely has one, as you have to when you're on top of a promotion.
Everybody has an ego.
And it definitely has to hurt Samoa Joe's ego to lose a match like that against Homicide, and that might actually make him more aggressive in this match. We'll see as he pushes Williams off.
Oh, hey Bauer, you talk to Dougie after this match. Tell him when he does cartwheels, he's supposed to get his hands up.
He got spiked through the mat on that sidewalk slam, and this one could be over early. Doug Williams has seen stars right now, and I'm not talking about Samoa Joe. And there's a cover. Gary Moore seeing the hand on the ropes. Good call by ref Gary Moore here. Samoa Joe still getting a 2 count though. Samoa Joe now taking Doug Williams, snap mirrors him over, chop to the back, kick to the chest, big knee to the face. I should note, because some of you fans might be wondering why you hear that background noise, that's because there's some crazy hippie concert going on in a different part of the building. We're getting some of the noise over here in the Rexplex.
I think it's a revival.
I'm not sure what it is. All I know is that it can't match what we're witnessing in the ring right now between these 2 hard-hitting heavyweights as Doug Williams goes down.
A nice headbutt by the Samoan. You know they have the hardest heads in the pro wrestling world.
If you say so.
British people are pretty much known for not brushing their teeth, but here's a face wash for you, Doug Williams.
As Samoa Joe tries to knock some of those teeth out of the mouth of Doug Williams.
I don't think you can mess up Dougie's teeth any more than they already are. It looks like his tongue's in prison when he smiles.
Well, right now, Samoa Joe does have the respect of the fans. He is beloved by the ROH fans, and he is absolutely pummeling Doug Williams, as he could just be trying to wear down Williams with one stiff strike, kick, blow after another.
Nice front chancery applied by the champion.
That's another move that'll wear down your opponent. As Doug Williams now taking Williams down. Excuse me, Samoa Joe taking Doug Williams down.
It's cliche, Bauer, but it is the champ's game. He's got a nice crossface on right here. You have to beat the champion. The champion doesn't have to beat you. Fortunately for Doug, that's not the kind of guy Samoa Joe is. Samoa Joe wants to win as much as you want to beat him. So he's an honorable champion. He's a fighting champion. Nobody knows that more than me. Nice sweep of the legs. Joe obviously scouted. He obviously didn't just come out before that match in Boston against Walters. He watched it, and Doug's leg could still be bothering from that match a month ago.
And Samoa Joe is coming up with a lot of counters for Doug Williams' moves too. So he did do his research going into this one. And you know what time it is, CM Punk?
It's clobbering time?
It's ole ole time.
Clobbering time's so much cooler.
Samoa Joe blocks up against Mel with an enziguri. And he gets his face taken off by the ole ole kick. And look at the impact on the follow through. Bent that steel barricade in half. Can you imagine the impact it had on Doug Williams' face and head?
I think the Ring of Honor upper echelon, the brass, if you will, the management needs to start fining Joe for ruining these guardrails. They don't grow on trees, you know.
Did some money out of the pocket of ROH officials. Samoa Joe now taking his time, and he's got quite a sweat worked up there. Perhaps you did use that rope-a-dope technique on Samoa Joe, CM Punk, and it was effective to an extent. Maybe the same thing is happening right here. Samoa Joe is looking a little bit tired.
Well, you take a look at Doug Williams right now. You tell me who you think looks worse.
Doug Williams is out on his feet.
Take a look at these two before the match, and you can tell Doug Williams looks worse, but it's another story. Rolling the man into the center of the ring, hook of the leg.
Uh-oh. Doug Williams could have very well been unconscious and been down for 3 seconds there. Somehow kicking out, perhaps just on instinct. Samoa Joe, though, taking his time and following up, and you think that the world champion would want to get this one over quickly, especially someone who knows so many holds and counter holds and pinning combinations as Doug Williams.
Doug Williams on Dream Street, out on his feet. That's not going to help either.
Samoa Joe just lighting up Doug Williams with those kicks to various parts of the body. And Doug Williams is going to be sore all over from this one.
Nice double leg by Williams, but he doesn't have enough leverage to get Joe onto the mat. Pin his shoulders at least.
Williams struggling to get out of this.
Joe fighting the whole time.
Williams definitely knocked a little bit loopy. Oh. Joe is just assaulting him at this point. Doug Williams has to start mounting some serious offense soon.
Lazy cover by the champion, and he gets kicked right in the mouth.
Headbutt by Samoa Joe. And now Williams showing some signs of life.
European uppercut only met by another slap by Samoa Joe. Joe holds on to the ropes.
Williams, though, kicks him off. Joe, once again, holding on to the ropes. Up and over goes Doug Williams. Oh, and he gets hit with another enziguri, another blow to the head.
That's a big enziguri.
There are no countouts in Ring of Honor in this type of match. But if you're on the floor for too long, you can't be disqualified. Doug Williams, though, taking his time now to take a breather, get some of those cobwebs out of his head, perhaps.
Smart move by the contender, by the challenger.
Doug Williams was hand selected by John Walters for this match. And he cuts Joe off from that tope, and now he's punishing Samoa Joe.
Big knee right to the underneath the chin of Joe.
All those knees connected. Fly body press, cover! Oh, the champion kicks out. And those knees could definitely stun you, followed by that cross body. That could have been it. The crowd glued to the ring, chanting for Joe. High knee.
Doug needs to stop pandering to this crowd here. He needs to go in for the kill.
And the world champion looks in trouble.
About almost a dozen European uppercuts.
Oh, Williams missing the knee though. Cover! Oh, the power slam. him.
Right to the Jujigatami, but looks like Doug's holding on. No leverage.
Yeah, Doug Williams clasping his hands together, keeping Joe from effectively applying the hold.
If Joe can separate his hands and extend that arm, it could be all over.
And look at Joe's face. He is struggling with everything he has. But Williams just has those fingers interlocked. And Gary Moore, great job making sure Doug Williams' shoulders were not down. Williams now trying to turn it over, and yes, he's in the ropes.
Turn it over to relieve the pressure and then grabs the ropes. Assuring a break at least. Joe now to his feet. And Doug's still looking worse for wear here.
And this is the third of 3 great pure wrestling singles matches in a row that we've seen.
Powerbomb by Joe. Normally sets right up for an STF. Nice counter by Doug.
Doug doing his research, countered the STF, connected with a knee. Doug Williams loves those knees, and he usually goes for a high impact one off the top, and that's what he could be going for right here.
Calls it the bomb scare.
And he connects. Cover. New champion. Oh.
You gotta wonder if he hooked the leg on that, if he had a little bit more leverage. Could we have seen a new Ring of Honor champion?
And Doug Williams is getting an adrenaline rush. He's feeling it. He knows that belt is within grasp.
He's signaling for the Chaos Theory. There's going to be something if we see the champion dumped on his head via Chaos Theory.
There's no way Samoa Joe can kick out of a Chaos Theory.
Here we go.
He's going for it all. Joe holding on for his life.
Now Joe holding on for his belt.
And once again, Joe blocks him but misses the lariat. And Doug Williams in a sleeper hold. And he's got the legs wrapped around the torso of Samoa Joe. That neutralizes Samoa Joe's chances of going anywhere and getting to the ropes.
This is essentially what put Nigel McGuinness out.
And look at the look on the face of Samoa Joe. The world champion is fading. That's twice. One more time and we got a new world champion. The arm's dropping. Oh!
Now Joe's got something left in him. I don't know where he's getting it from. He manages to get out of the body vice and make it to the ropes.
Pure instinct from Samoa Joe.
I used everything in my match against Joe. Headlocks, sleepers. I tried to play the striking game with Joe. But one thing I did is I avoided his strikes. Doug's not doing such a great job of that right now in this match, but he's trying to tie up the champion in another submission hold.
And Joe fights out of it by going to the legs. Taking Doug Williams up in a torture rack. Williams with back elbows gets out of it. Williams falls down to the mat.
Both heavyweight fighters now fatigued.
Let's see Doug Williams pummeling him. Williams gets nailed with the lariat and somehow kicks out. And did you see the sweat go flying off the body of Doug Williams on that impact?
Amazing impact on that clothesline.
Samoa Joe, the world champion, unleashing the heavy artillery now.
Joe slapping himself in his face, perhaps trying to motivate himself. Sends Doug into the buckle. Meets an elbow for his troubles.
The challenger just won't quit. Oh, and Joe catches him off the ropes.
And puts him right back on the top rope. Big slap. Oh no.
He's got him up for that muscle buster. Muscle buster dangerous! And the world champion's going to enter his 19th month as champion.
How did Doug Williams kick out of that?
I can't believe it. I can't believe it, Punk.
The crowd, I can't believe it either. Neither can the crowd.
What's it going to take? Oh, and Joe's frustrated. He is unleashing those slaps. Huge lariat. Another cover. And that was just too much for Doug Williams. Samoa Joe adds another name to the list. Another victim. What a dominating world champion we have. Who will finally defeat Samoa Joe?
The place like B.I.G. is I'm the greatest of all times. I'ma say it just like Ali did. for a century, and then chase the book with the documentary. If you can't do nothing other than flow, life's a bitch like the motherfucker flow. Let's go, no, put your heart in your lap, up, ride the beat, nigga, I'm out, up, the track.